Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So as you have probably already seen from my YouTube feed, but also from my social media, I did get myself Neo 2, and I got it from the launch here in Europe, and I went in the shop and bought it with my own money at the very first day. And I've been flying it for a couple of weeks now, and I think that finally, now I've come to a point where I will be able to give you my first impressions and kind of review from my point of view. And I've kind of gathered here to my iPad some notes so that I will stick into a plan. But yeah, more that I've used this drone, more I've really fallen in love with this. And also there are some things that I'm not so much keen of. But the big question is, of course, you know, this costs 250 euros without the receiver. Just battery and a drone. It's pretty nice for that money, like really. And when you buy the Fly More combo with the RC3 and the extra batteries and battery charging hub, it is gonna be 407 euros. And of course, that's when you start to get something really improve things with this thing. But then when you start to pile up some accessories like motion controller, N3 goggles, and FPV controller, well, the price goes up. But is it still a good deal? This drone is a vlog drone, so it's perfect for your selfies, videos while you're walking, running, bicycling, skiing, doing different things. It's perfect for that. And it really is vlog drone with some hidden superpowers. It's already a win in many ways, because it is, whilst this is much smaller profile, it feels quite sturdy, and I've crashed it also a couple of times, not that badly. I don't see any other visual marks on this drone except for maybe there has been some grass somewhere or some dirt, but it's easy to clean it off. And it is quite reliable also, and really fun. But it certainly has some quirks. Let's talk about the image quality, because that's also part of that. The image, yeah, it is much better than I've expected. Of course, I did see some videos from Chinese YouTubers, because they were the first ones to get this drone, and also the Philippines, and the people who got to have the first batch of this. And I was expecting the quality what I also witnessed myself. There is not really that much of surprises other than, with this new f2.2 lens with 118-degree field of view, the distortion is corrected quite well, actually. I think they say that it is 40mm equivalent lens, and yeah, towards the edges, if you have a human there, it will look, well, I'm quite not the smallest one, but I will look also quite like thick when I'm at the edge of the image. So even if it is really well corrected wide angle lens, you want to keep your target at the middle of the screen. But there is some heavy processing happening on this lens, and you can see it quite clearly when you look at the JPEG images. There is like clear center, which is quite well, there's not so many funny things in it, but when you start to go towards the edges, the image kind of falls off. There's more noise, and also there's a sudden warp at the very end of the image, especially in the corners. So yeah, we don't have profile for this, for example, in Lightroom, and we don't get to see the image which would be coming straight out of this sensor. And I'm not sure if I would like to see it. This has also something to do with when you are filming yourself in darker environments. That would kind of be visible when you are in a forest, for example. You start to see the noise to creep in shadows, and you know, that kind of, and you can clearly see that it is happening around the center. So keep yourself at the center. And also some YouTubers does say by default that, you know, keep your sharpness -2 and noise reduction -2, and then do it yourself at the post. When it comes to sharpness, I agree. When it comes to noise reduction, I don't really, because I've tried to get rid of the noise and it's quite hard. And this software which has been put into this little thing does get rid of that quite easy, and it won't task my computer so much. I have older computer, and noise reduction, as you all probably know, is quite, you know, challenging for computers and for video. So I would say keep your sharpness at -2, but keep the noise reduction -1 or at 0 by default, because that is just gonna make your life much more easy. And the image from this drone is not really that amazing that you would like to start to fiddle with that too much. You can do some tweaks here and there to make it really look like how you would prefer it, but I wouldn't go through that trouble. I have done that, but more than I'm looking at it, more it falls in the pieces, and it's really not worth it. So enjoy the quality, what you will receive from this drone as it is. I would say they have made a good job compared to Neo 1, where it really looked like awful, and especially when you had like high contrast situations. You know, I've been there with my red jacket and in the snowy conditions, and but also in my black jacket when it's a little bit more cold. This one did do perfectly well with that and balance everything well. It's still quite blooming in when you're shooting towards the light, so it looks but this is miles better than Neo 1, and also color profile, what they have done with this drone, it is pretty good. So good job, DJI, and it's good news for also a lot of you guys who just want to shoot with this and then just get the footage out there in YouTube or Instagram or wherever you want to post it. So, image quality. Well, if I would give it a rating, I would give it a rating maybe 6, 7. So it is really good. Neo 1 would be 5, 4. And if I would like to compare it to my Air 3S, for example, that would have like 8, 9 image quality, and the 10 would be like for higher end stuff. I'm happy with 7 to 9 category. So yeah, there you have it. Image quality, very nice improvement there. I would say after that image quality thing, one of the best things with this drone is that it's so much fun. It's really intuitive, it's addictive, and well, of course you will constantly find yourself keeping the batteries topped up because, you know, you will want to fly it everywhere. Yesterday I was there flying in this rocky place where I have like nice little places where you can go through, and some of those places you can't even crawl through, but I wanted to fly from one side to another. It did kiss those walls a little bit while it was going, but it didn't, like, there's no problem with that. And there's no markings. And well, because it is so sturdy, you also kind of push it harder than you probably should. But that's also one of the reasons why I got it, so that I would be able to do things that I'm not able to do with other drones. The downside is that it probably, for that kind of flying, when you're flying in S mode with the goggles on and then with the FPV controller, you will get in S mode approximately 10 minutes of flight time before it starts to go like you need to get back now. And of course this drone, when it goes below 15%, it will start to go like you need to come back, and then it goes quite quickly to 10%, and then it will force land itself. So yeah, you need to keep that in your mind. I've had this force landing on me 2 times already, and there's no time to go and do funny things like on top of the water, for example, when you are about to hit that 25% limit where it's going like, you know, battery life is extremely low. So and also for FPV, when you are doing like the M mode and you're flying as fast as you possibly can and do all kind of tricks and stuff, you will be able to get like 4-5 minutes. So this is also something that I have along with my batteries. So I can, with this battery bank, I can top these batteries 2 times all of these 3. So I will get around 1 hour flight time. But that's fine. That's actually fine. When you're flying casually with the normal drone, when you can do a lot of things, it is easy to spend half an hour. But when you're doing things with this, and you really are going through places and you really need to be focused at all times, you know, 10 minutes is quite a long time. So is 5 minutes. So yeah, I would be happy if I would have more battery life, but I'm happy with what I've got so far. As I can see from here, they have rated this with the top speed of 16 meters per second. And in manual mode, it can reach that quite easily. In S mode, the top speed is 12 meters per second. I've had like tailwind. It was easy to hit 18 meters per second or even more. it would have been, I could have done it, but I'm just always, when I'm going down the wind, I know that I will have to come back, and that's also something that it does struggle with. In the harder winds, so I don't want to do that unless I really want to have that top speed. But even in less of tailwind, like normal winds, 2, 3, 4 meters per second, you can get 17, 18 meters per second flight speed with this drone, which is remarkable. Some of the YouTubers, at least there, I think there has been just one who has been flying in very heavy winds. He did go like almost 30 meters per second, like 100 kilometers per hour. With this one, that is crazy. That is crazy. With the Neo one, I couldn't hit the 16 meters per second so easily. This can do it, no problem, without any wind. You know, mark my words, without any wind. So that's a big bonus. It's time to talk about controllers. Basically, you have 4 options, like different options. Hand gestures, you have to activate them through your app, like mobile app, what you have in your phone. And that actually is so much fun. It's just, and it's also quite handy, not pun intended, to little bit adjust your drone. Like, okay, now it's a little bit, when you have been walking, you go like, oh, it's in a funny place now, let's just move it a little bit and move it close, further away or closer. That's fun, that's great also, and it's handy. The option, if you buy the combo which includes this receiver, you will get the RC3 controller, which I have still in the package because I happen to have RC2, which came with my Air 3S combo. This is very practical, and you will get to have the drone experience, like when you are actually controlling the drone like properly with sticks. And it will utilize this 2-axis gimbal. Yeah, it's practical. It's yeah, it gets the job done, and it probably will get many of the jobs done. And then the option what I'm mostly using with this drone, when I'm not using it in selfie modes, is N3 goggles. And for me, I will choose this over the motion controller. This will get me precise movements, and yeah, it's fun. And also that FPV flying with goggles, it's also great fun. And you can explore places from different angles. It's really like you would be up there, or, you know, in the forest or by the lake, or that's just so much fun. FPV controller is a big win for me, but since I already have this also, I'm using this with the head tracking activated. I'll show some of that also here. So, as I briefly said about this 2-axis gimbal, it really makes the difference. And it also, when you're using this motion controller or FPV with goggles and in N or S mode, it really makes a difference when the footage, so it's so like stable. You feel safe up there, and it's more fun than going like, oh, it's quite exciting, but oh, why it's moving and shaking so much. I haven't really touched the biggest thing which has improved also, which is actually completely new. First Neo was depending on you know, what it sees through the camera, and there was also sensors, as there are still at the bottom the IR, and I think it measures also the distance towards the ground sensor. So there has been these two in the previous one, but what is new is the LiDAR in front, and these sensors at here at the back, these two fish eye sensors, they are quite sensitive to distractions also. When I'm having it in my RC2 controller with the Air 3S, and it has much more of these sensors in every corner, they are shooting black and white image, and I think it's contrast based, and they won't work in dark, for example, at all. And also, if there's a like bright light coming to this sensor, it kind of blinds it completely. Of course, it is fish eye, so if you are familiar with fish eye lenses, they are quite prone to light which comes from sideways. And I do believe that these lenses are not exceptions in that regard. So when you're going sideways, backwards, it can detect things, but it would not be something that I would rely 100%. But they do work quite well, and I'm quite surprised how well this combination works actually. So there's that. Don't rely on it, and be mindful when you're using this drone and flying it backwards and sideways. And especially when you're going faster speeds, these sensors will not be able to keep up with you. But yeah, talking of that, now it can also be tracking not just bicycles or motorbikes, but also your car. And for that, you can't use the mobile app. It's not possible. It's just, there is no option. I tried to go like, with the mobile phone, going like, okay, now it's tracking me. I'll just go in the car, and yeah, well, didn't really work. But for that you will need RC2 controller. I'm gonna probably have some video later on. I'm just not so keen on having this drone following me up in my car, because I'm a little bit afraid that it will just wander off and hit something and I will lose the drone because of that. I would have to be in control of the drone myself, but I can't really do that while I'm driving. But there are some people, YouTubers, who have done it, and it seems to be working well. I'm almost done with my first insights with the Neo 2. I would just like to remind you guys that if you have found this entertaining or helpful, please hit the like button if you liked it. And you can also consider subscribing to my channel. It would greatly help me to produce this kind of material and even more. So please, if you are in the full speed already, why not just to share this and comment? So, you know, this was just a friendly reminder. Now, let's get back to video. Feedback is always welcome. And this is social, social network after all. So my tips for you for the future, if you would like to have this drone as your social media powerhouse, because you can do a lot of things for vlogging or even taking pictures. Like, look at these pictures what I've taken with this drone. Of course, the main thing would be to be in the right location. If you see the light correct or interesting in any way, good situation, it's so much, it's quite convenient to have this drone with you, because it's so small, you can just fit it in almost anywhere. Of course, you will also need the controller. Auto mode is quite good actually. Sometimes the white balance is a little bit off, or you might not want to let the drone to pump up the ISO too high, because there is going to be quite a lot of noise in the image. So you can choose to use the white balance on an auto, and the shutter speed, it's usually trying to do the best option for you anyway. But then just restrict the ISO, or then just keep the automatic exposure on, depending on your situation, what kind of things you would like to, on minus or plus. And when I've noticed with the Lightroom, if I will just make little circular adjustment, and then I will invert it so that the edges which are overcorrected by default, you can just bring them a little bit down, and it will give your images nice vignette while you're doing it, but it will also get rid of most of that noise pattern what you will have at the edges. And then what I've noticed from Lightroom, for example, when I've been shooting with my proper cameras, those presets, what they're quite nice, but they have always been looking quite finicky, and like you would just slap it on your images. But with these files, what are coming from this camera now, they actually look quite nice. So explore on those presets a little bit more. I think you can also, if you download these images to your mobile phone, you can also fiddle with those presets what you have already in your phone, and you might find quite nice results while doing it. I had a question at the beginning. Is this drone worth it? I would say it is worth it. As it is a vlog machine, I am strongly going to recommend so that you will buy package which will contain these extra 2 batteries and the charging hub and power bank, which has PD power. This one has 65 watts, and it really it's half an hour and all of these batteries are full. I would consider, if I would be you and you would consider of buying this for FPV, this one is so much more fun than the Neo one, which was already fun for the price. But get the motion controller and goggles. The S mode is so much fun. Of course, the manual flying is also, it's really pumping your adrenaline. For me, that is perfect combo. And you can see on this channel a lot more of these FPV videos. I could be going between rocks and places, or exploring tree branches, or there's gonna be a lot of that kind of things. If you're into that kind of things, plenty of that kind of stuff coming. And also, whilst I'm walking or bicycling through the forest or skiing, when we get some snow, you're gonna see a lot of that kind of material from me. So like, subscribe, leave a comment, share, and you will get a lot more of this kind of material in the future. And of course, if you are just a beginner, like this drone is aimed for beginners but also for vloggers, you might want to consider looking at my videos what I've done for Air 3S of how to use these drones the best way. This is a little bit different, but some of those same principles does work with this one too. So you need to be quite cautious when you're flying your drones around, and there are some things what you really want to consider. So have a look at those videos. They are not that long, and you know, if you have any questions, comments down below, and I will go through those questions and get back to you. And yeah, have a great day and fly safely.